want to welcome everyone. I'm Meryl Solis, and this is the Vegan Convergence of the People number 22, Thriving on Planet B. I'm your MC, and I'm honored to introduce as our keynote speaker tonight and my good friend, Meryl Fury. After years of studying nursing, human health, meditation, and personal transformation, Meryl realized that eating only plants was the healthiest option for her. This awareness fires Meryl's passion to make a difference for people through whole food, plant-based eating. A member of the Lifestyle College of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, Meryl has her master's degree in nursing and holds certificates from the T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies and Plant-Based Nutrition, Ruby Online Culinary School, and Forks Over Knives Plant-Based Cuisine. She's also on the board of directors of the T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies and CEO of Plant-Based Nutrition Movement. So, welcome, Meryl. I am so excited, and for some reason I don't have the title of your segment. Where did it go?
I have it.
Hey, what is it? Tell us.
I can tell you. I know that. It's called Helping Children Blossom Wherever They Are Planted.
Helping Children Blossom Wherever They Are Planted. All right. Welcome, Meryl Fury.
Well, thank you very much, Marikita. This is so exciting. I am honored to be here. Like I said, we're all going to keep our fingers crossed, and we're going to hope the technology does the thing it's supposed to do, right? So let's see. All right, we're going to do this, and then we'll do this. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Okay, great. Well, thank you again for having me. This has been a very full day. Earlier today, I was down working with a group of sickle cell disease patients, teaching them about food as medicine. And I get to wrap up my evening speaking with you here at VCOP-22. So this is a great day for me. So good evening, everyone. I am honored, like I said, to spend time with you, bringing Planet B to life. How lucky are we that we can sense it and we can see it just ahead on the horizon and we can make it happen, we can make it a reality. I feel like, there's that old story about like when at Christmas time, it comes up where they say, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Well, yes, Virginia, there is a Planet B. And it's right here in front of us. We are looking at it. The question is, how do we get there? And that's like an amazingly fun question. It's kind of funny to ask, how do you arrive somewhere that you already are? And it really is a shift in mindset. It's like one of those Zen Buddhist koans. It's a riddle that's designed to be a doorway just to open another way to seeing the world. So this is what we're looking at this evening. All right, technology is working. Technology is not working. There we go. Okay. So I am a registered nurse. And as a nursing person, I have to say that I have no conflicts of interest to declare, which means I've not been paid by a pharmaceutical company or a biomedical company, in my case, ever, for anything. And that would be an amazing situation if I ever was paid to talk about broccoli and Brussels sprouts, because that would mean that those companies are interested in having children and families eat healthy food, and they'd be interested in protecting life and the planet. And getting the Planet B might be an easier trip, but I don't have that as a problem at this point. Maybe one day in the future that'll happen. I retired from public health nursing in 2020. Now I lead a 501c3 nonprofit called Plant-Based Nutrition Movement, or PBNM for short. Like our name implies, our mission is to assist people to eat plants every day and all the time. And we work a lot with children. that sounds like a really cool job. I'm going to guess for this particular population. And yeah, it really is. It is actually my dream job. PBNM was founded by a cardiologist. And even though I retired from nursing, once a nurse, you're forever a nurse. So when we work with adults or children, our focus is usually medical. We approach from the medical side. That's the starting point. I can tell you, though, with children, that rarely carries the day. They are not particularly interested in the heart attack that they might have when they're 55. It just doesn't register. So we go at it from a little bit different angle with children, and we do bring in the health part. So at the same time as we're aware of the health part, we are also fully aware, and there's no denying that our food system is wreaking havoc on every living being and on the planet herself. And you can see it playing out all over the world, especially in our children. In fact, it's sobering to say that our children are suffering the consequences of our way of life, and they are actually walking billboards for a system and a way of thinking that's gone awry. So, like I said before, I became president of PBNM, and before that, I was a public health nurse. In public health, and I draw strongly on that whole part of my life. In public health, we look at large numbers of people to see what is working for them and what's working against them, what's keeping them sick or what's keeping them healthy. I spent my entire nursing career studying whole zip codes of people. For more than 30 plus years, I worked with more than 40,000 individuals and families from all walks of life. I visited them in clinics and homes and schools, at train stations and grocery stores, restaurants, daycare centers, wherever I could find them. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, with every single family, one thing is completely countable for all of them. No matter if the family was doing well, if they were ultra wealthy, or where they live, or whatever their situation, no matter if they were living at in the penthouse apartment in some super elite area, or if they were barely getting by, or if they were well educated from elite universities, or if they are well seasoned from the schools of the streets, they all have one thing in common. They all want the best for their children. Their definitions of what's best may vary, and in fact do vary by quite a lot, but the goal is always the same. Now, to be clear, there are individual families that are exceptions to the rule, but I never met those people in the 30 plus years that I was working with patients one-on-one like that. I was doing home visits and managing clinics. I never met somebody that didn't want the best for their children. For all families I've worked with, the greatest goal and challenge is keeping the kids on track. Now that means well-fed, healthy, strong, ready to learn, and growing up to contribute to society in however the family sees that. They want the kids to be considerate of others. They want the kids to leave the world better than how they found it. In short, they want the children to be resilient and bright and make the parents proud. Now, for parents, this is a tall order, and it's the toughest job you'll never get paid for. It is equally tough, however, for the kids, especially because our culture, our existing way of life right here where we live, and it seems like the whole world is feeling the same pinch, it changes rapidly. The culture changes so rapidly and does not seem to support that children produce these outcomes and live out this kind of ethos. But what if I told you there are some simple steps we can take with our children, in our families, in our schools, in our churches, to increase the odds of success, to make the parents and the kids' goal attainment easier? to help them blossom right where they're planted and get us to planet B without ever leaving home. Now, full disclosure, we know there are no guarantees, of course, but there is a way, there is a cheat code, and that's what we're going to talk about this evening. So let me tell you about a group of 9 and 10-year-olds at a school in Wisconsin that we had the honor of working with. 3 of us volunteered to work with these 4th and 5th graders for 1 school year. We visited the class once a month for a total of 7 times. Our goal was to teach them about eating vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans. If we could slip some mushrooms in there, we would, and seeds. On our first visit to the elementary school, we walked into the classroom full of squirmy 9 and 10-year-olds. We were armed with a lesson about food and an instant pot full of spiral pasta and a hearty veggie marinara. Now, that sounds like it might be a lot, but it was just spaghetti sauce that had some zucchini cooked in it and some Italian herbs, right? The kids were noisy and excited when we arrived. But the minute we set the food down, they went quiet. Just like you could have dropped a lentil on the floor and they would have heard it. The kids eyed the whole thing like it was something pulled from the bottom of a neglected fish tank. Ew, I don't want that, one kid shouted. That looks gross, another little boy said, visibly distraught. And the one I love the most, one little boy said, I don't eat spices. Well, this is not an environment for the faint of heart. This takes internal strength for an adult to walk into a room like that. I fully respect teachers and how they manage classrooms. That was one of those eyes wide open kind of moments, right? And clearly no place for being, having your heart on your sleeve or being too sensitive. So that's how we began. A 7-visit exploration of food and how it's connected to life and the universe and everything. And by the end of the 4th visit, those little darlings were different kids. And they were eating out of the palms of our hands. Well, so to speak. Now, we started with food, and it led to just about everything else. And actually last night, like in the middle of the night, it all sort of made sense to me in a different way. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But seeing the way the kids accepted the concepts and eagerly learned from the experiences was just mind-blowing and so tender and so sweet. We watched them transform right in front of our eyes. We watched these kids find their roots and grow and blossom. It was so powerful, we made it into an acronym, which I'm honored to share with you this evening. And I sent a little digital download. Mariquita, maybe you can tell people how they can access that. Just a free gift for you about this acronym and this framework that we're calling Blossom. So
Yes.
where did you get that?
Yes, we're going to make sure everybody gets that. Thank you, Meryl.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So this is the Blossom framework, and we'll go into it in more depth here. But it's an approach to raising and training children, and it really works anywhere you have kids. So like I said, if you're in school, you're at a church, you're at a synagogue, a temple, you're at camp, you're on vacation, you're at home, wherever your kids are, this is a way to instill certain values and forward-looking approaches to being engaged with food and life and the planet in general. It provides a structure for how the kids can see themselves and their connection to all living beings and things. It's really based on the tenets of lifestyle medicine. Each one of these is important. The 7 cornerstones listed here, I'll describe this evening. They're also important for adults, by the way. And you can start with any one of them because they're all connected. Although I honestly believe sleep and food are about the 2 most important. That's my personal take on them. Like I said, we started with food because we could, and that led to everything else. So we'll use the word blossom. Each letter stands for a valuable approach or aspect of child rearing that will get your kids to planet B. So let's go. B. Breathe fresh air. Now, this is about being out in green spaces, and it's also about encouraging mindfulness and even practicing breath work. Did you know that time spent in nature, I'm sure you guys all have a sense of this and you know, that time spent in nature improves mood and brain health. So does mindfulness, and so does breath work, oddly enough. They work together. And actually, if you can be out in nature and practice mindfulness and breath work together, that's a triple dose of some kind of wonderful stuff. It's also a method that reduces stress and encourages wonder. Encouraging kids to spend time outdoors is powerful. Green spaces help reduce behavior problems and also are known to improve academic performance. Exposure to greenery has been consistently linked to reduced behavioral problems, cognitive enhancement, and potentially improved academic performance. Focused mindful breathing has similar effects and also helps the child and adult to learn about themselves. So a couple practical tips. Make being outside, of course, in safe environments, a priority. Build in nature walks. Do a little gardening, even if it is just putting a seedling in a cup on your windowsill. Daily outdoor play is also important. And when you're outdoors, and if you can, go barefoot on the grass, the dirt, or the sand, or in the ocean if you happen to be near the beach, if possible. For mindful breathing, there are many ways to practice. And an easy one is breathing in to the count of 5 and then out to the count of 5. Try it. Encourage your kids to try it and see what happens. L. Love and respect all beings. Now, kids need kind, supportive relationships. They're essential to well-being and to feeling safe. We are really social animals. And even though all that stuff happened in 2020 and 2021, where we isolated ourselves, which was really difficult for a lot of people, we're designed to live in community. And that's why those lockdowns from COVID were so challenging. We're designed to live with people. We're supposed to be in tribes or groups. We appear to need to sharpen our skills these days, however. We don't get along as well as we used to in some cases. Supportive relationships are a key protective factor and are essential for mental health in children. So a couple practical tips. Teach kindness and active listening. Encourage teamwork and develop genuine empathy for all beings. Now, I'll be honest, I still have a little bit of a challenge being empathetic with mosquitoes and ticks. I have to work on that. But all beings deserve respect, right? Everybody's just here trying to do what they're here to do. Now, parents have a fine line to walk here. Teaching love and acceptance, super important. We also have to teach boundaries. We have to remember that stop still means stop, and no definitely still means no. And it is okay for a child to voice that when they feel the need to set limits with people. Oh, open to new adventures. Now, this is about building confidence and curiosity. Critical skills, I'm going to call them, or traits that lead to a broad range of experiences and more variety in your day, right? So building courage in small and big ways takes time, and it takes opportunities. You have to try to find new things to do. So encourage your children to try new activities, new foods, and experiences. This builds courage and curiosity, and it's essential for navigating the world. I'll tell you right now, I have 3 children. My younger one is in Denmark. He is 25 years old, and he has always wanted to be a traveler. He told me when he was 14 he wanted to be an expatriate. I didn't even know that he knew what that meant. But now at 25, he is living in Denmark and having a great time. Because of the proximity of Denmark to so many other countries, and he has a naturally adventurous spirit. That looks like some of my slides are a little bit goofy here, but sorry about that. He has a naturally adventurous spirit. So he is taking advantage of being able to go to other countries, even if it's just for 48 hours. So a couple of weeks ago, he went to Venice. That's a quick hop. It's like from me going from here to, not even Virginia, not even, right? Or last week, he was in Egypt. A couple weeks before that, he was in Greece, right? Just being adventurous and willing to try new things broadens his world and makes him a global citizen, which I think is part of us landing on planet B. We have to remember that we learn to do things by doing them. There's no other way, and we won't be perfect when we try. And it's thwarting to ask people or expect your child to be perfect when they try something. We can celebrate every effort. We can make success of shortfalls and missteps. It doesn't matter. Mistakes are part of the learning process. And missteps happen, and nothing beats a failure but a try, is what my mother used to say. S. Sleep. 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 We don't sleep. And especially our children are getting shortchanged on sleep. Quality sleep helps kids grow and regulates emotions and helps them think clearly. Sleep actually plays an important role in memory. It affects mood, motivation, and judgment. Now, people have asked me which of these cornerstones is most important. And I said, I think the two most important are sleep and nutrition. Sleep is almost the most important to me. You can go a whole lifetime skipping the other 7. Now, it won't be it'll be a different kind of life, but we can't go more than a couple days without sleep, period. We will fall asleep in our chair, standing up, on the sidewalk. I've seen all kinds of people fall asleep all kinds of places, right? So sleep is really important. Practical tips. Sleep is critical for good health and mood stability. The brain will go haywire if deprived of adequate sleep. Many of us, kids and adults alike, do not get enough sleep. We're on our mobile devices, we're on our computers, we're on our phones, and sleep gets short shrift. Sleep adequacy and quality is worth a whole conversation. This could be a 2, 4, 5 hour conversation. But just make sure you're getting something like 8 to 10 hours of restorative sleep per night if you can. Children need quite a bit. Infants need a lot. And kids in school, certainly 10 hours is not unusual. One thing, some practical tips about sleep. Start winding down the evening about an hour before bedtime. So that means put the screens away. You can start dimming the lights. One thing that I've seen recommended is change the color of the lighting. So go to a pink tone light as opposed to a bright blue-white light. So start dimming the lights. Bedtime rituals can be very helpful. Like I said, stop screen time, dim the lighting. The dimming of the lighting sort of signals the body that it's time to quiet the mind. It is through the eyes that we get that, right? Gentle music can help, or white noise can help. A warm bath or a shower, a cup of chamomile tea or hibiscus tea is very calming. A light lavender essential oil spray on the bed sheets or massage of the shoulders and neck can be wonderful just before bed and calming people down. Sleep is so important. Second S there in Blossom. Stay active and playful. There's no need to be so serious all the time. And I have to remind myself of this, especially in the world as it is right now. It is so easy to be stressed out and worried about what's going on and what's going to happen next. It's important that we take time and shake our sillies out, right? Laugh and be playful, jump, run, right? Play games, strengthen body and mind, games and play. Very important. They strengthen our body and mind. They help improve focus. And active play requires daily movement, right? Which is a whole nother thing. It's a way to burn off energy and to burn off stress hormones and to help our mind sort of figure out tough problems. Movement is vital for physical health and mental focus. And movement is actually now known to be a type of medicine. Children who are more physically active perform better academically and have better memory and attention. Make family dance parties. So here's your practical tips. Make family dance parties. Okay, maybe you don't dance. Okay, make family jump up and down parties, or run up and down the stairs parties, or walk around the block parties, whatever it is. Do something where you're moving together, right? Go outdoors if possible. It helps improve sleep. It helps build strong muscles. It helps us think differently. It builds our appetites. And it can foster an awareness of our connection to all living beings. One more practical tip. And I used to love to play this game. I would ask myself, now it's just me talking to myself. This wasn't an out loud kind of game, but you certainly could play it out loud. I would ask myself, how am I like a tree? And I would have to find 3 things, 3 ways I was like a tree. So I'd say, well, I'm upright, and the leaves are like my hair, and the branches are like my arms. Let's say it was something like that. I might also say, how am I like a mouse? Well, sometimes I'm small and scared. Sometimes I go, eek. Anything like that, right? It's a great game you can play with your kids, and it gives them a connection to other living beings or other inanimate objects. How are you like a chair? How are you like a tree branch? How are you like the girl across the street? Try it. See what comes up. Okay. Own your unique gift. Now, this is about celebrating your children's strengths, which builds self-esteem. Every child, regardless of how they are, where they are in the world, every child, every adult, every being has something special to offer. Help your children discover, celebrate, and develop their unique talents. Each small evolution of how their talents show up is a win. Celebrate what makes each child special to build on their self-esteem and purpose. Practical tips. Now, there's more to life than good grades in school. Everybody knows that. But remember to praise your children for all their strengths, even those beyond academics. Offer a variety of opportunities. Now we're back to being courageous to develop different interests. This requires being brave and sometimes a little vulnerable. Remind them that they have an important place in the world. There's no one else in this world that has their special combination of talents. Supporting them to try new things says, I believe in you. And there's nothing, honestly, nothing that is more powerful than that for a child. M, make smart food choices a habit. Now, probably most of the folks on this particular call are eating lots of plants. Eating plants supports growth, immunity, and brain development. And I want to go do a little bit deeper dive here into nutrition, because eating plants and whole foods builds lifelong healthy habits and hopefully can prevent some pretty serious chronic illnesses in the long run. So a colorful plant-rich diet is crucial for kids' growth and brain health. Children need fruits and vegetables daily. This is from the Center for Disease Control, which we don't usually expect to say things like this. But in 2023, they actually reported that children need fruits and vegetables daily for healthy growth and brain development. They were responding to a study that they did looking at tens of thousands of children all across the country that indicated that many of our children do not get a daily fruit or vegetable in the course of a week. And what they were asking the parents was to look back over the last 7 days and ask how many times had your child had a fruit or vegetable. They did not get a daily fruit or vegetable in many of those cases. What I found interesting was that was the last 7 days. What about the 7 days prior to that? Or the 7 days prior to that? Or the whole 2 months or 4 months before that? Our children do not get fed enough fruits and vegetables. So it's important that we make this a priority. Some practical tips. You can involve your children in menu planning, shopping, and cooking. When we choose plants for our foods, we're helping save the planet, animals, and habitats. It may be the one thing actually that a kid can control. When you ask them, what would you like to do to help save the planet? Food is one thing they can control. You can do things like make food tasting games, like Taste the Rainbow challenges, or let's have a all yellow and orange fruit day challenge, or let's go berry picking, or let's plant a garden, tomatoes, herbs, any of that, or learn about edible flowers. There are so many ways to go that can deepen a child's understanding of plant foods. And like I said, I'm going to take this just a little bit deeper because plants provide way more than we commonly think of. So let's look at this study of dietary sources of neurotransmitters, which was published by Briguglio et al. In 2018. These are images from their meta-analysis that they published in the journal Nutrients. This shows the presence of 6 different and important neurotransmitters available in foods. Now, let me just step back a minute. I am a public health nurse. I am not a neuro nurse. So I don't have deep knowledge on neuro-specific kind of transmitters. I can give you some basic information though. First, I want you to notice that only plant foods have fiber. We know that, right? Fiber is not available in dairy products and not available in eggs or fish or chicken or other animal muscle. Fiber is only available in plants. Fiber strengthens our immune system, partly by feeding the microbiome, right? The microbiome is that lovely set of viruses and microbes and other eukaryotes, all kinds of fun little small, can I call them beings also? Microbes that live in our gut, right? And there's microbiome all over the body. There's the skin microbiome, there's the mouth microbiome. This we're talking specifically about the gut, which starts at the mouth and ends at the rectum, okay? I'm going to talk like a nurse for a minute. All right, so fiber feeds the microbiome. That's how that works. The microbiome is in direct communication with the brain. And when we eat these foods and others, of course, we are facilitating that connection. Interestingly enough, Briguglio, in this meta-analysis of studies that they did, found that these foods provide neurotransmitters, which, yes, communicate between brain and body. Okay? All right, now these 6 neurotransmitters that we're going to highlight here provide certain particular capabilities for the body, right? Or the way the mind works. They allow us to learn, remember, compartmentalize, discern, organize, tell the difference between objects, pivot when we need to change our course of action abruptly. They help us sleep, They help us prioritize, calm the nervous system, and balance anxiety, satisfaction, and reward attainment. Acetylcholine is related specifically to memory, motivation, arousal, and attention. It's essential for learning tasks of discrimination. GABA helps reduce nerve excitability. It helps provide that calming effect on the central nervous system. Now, I could ask, what do children in America eat? On average, what is the standard American kid diet? Now, I don't know if you can answer that by putting things in the chat. I can't see the chat from the view that I'm on, but I'm going to guess if you put things in the chat, it would be things like chicken nuggets, pizza, burgers, hot dogs, cereal, ice cream, milk, donuts, candies, cakes, and cookies. That's the typical American diet. Oh, wait, Kraft macaroni and cheese. There might be a couple other random things in there, but that's mostly the American kid diet. By and large, our children are not getting these foods. Now, that may not be true in this audience, but this audience is not typical for the American population, I'm going to say. So on average, our children are not getting eggplant. They're not getting mushrooms. They're not getting beans. They're not getting wild strawberries. Am I right? Or am I way off? They're not getting chestnuts. They're not getting too many sweet potatoes, except maybe around Thanksgiving. And then it's going to be loaded with marshmallows and butter, right? Okay. Let's look at the next set. Dopamine and serotonin. Now, these are the feel-good neurotransmitters. Dopamine is responsible for allowing us to feel pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. Serotonin helps regulate attention, behavior, and body temperature, digestive processes, blood flow, regulating satisfaction, happiness, and optimism versus depression. Our children are rarely eating these things. Pomegranates, wild rice, chicory, velvet bean. Oh, tomato. We get that in the form of ketchup or tomato sauce on pizza. Potatoes, maybe as French fries. That's not really what a potato is, though. French fry is a far cry from a baked potato or boiled potatoes, right? So our children are not getting some of the basic foundational substances that they need. Now, when I speak with audiences in person where I can actually see their faces and I'm not, your view isn't obliterated by my screen. Very often I'm speaking with grandparents, and the grandparents feel they have no way that they can bring more fruits and vegetables to their children, their grandchildren, that is. Maybe the children actively intervene. But I'm going to encourage anyone who has anything to say about what children eat anywhere, including in a church, a synagogue, a temple, at a summer camp, after school program, in school, wherever you are, encourage them to eat vegetables. Encourage them. Make it fun. Make it a game. Now, interestingly enough, the United States is considered, there's a book out actually called Dopamine Nation. Dopamine and serotonin are these feel-good hormone or neurotransmitters, like I said. And very often in the standard American diet or the standard American kid diet, even more so, food scientists are spending lots of time and they're being paid exorbitant amounts of money to create foods that trigger the release of dopamine in the brain. They light up little certain places in the brain that signal pleasure. And they are usually combinations of some mishmash of flour, sugar, fat, salt, and artificial flavors, artificial colors, texturizers, and things like that. right? Mixing agents. Wouldn't it be amazing if instead of going for a Twix bar or Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever it is that people feed their children that triggers dopamine release, we could also do it by giving them oranges or bananas or strawberries, wild rice, kiwis. These are amazing, amazing foods that we don't take advantage of. We don't feed our children this way. Here's the last two: glutamate and histamine. Glutamate is needed to keep the brain functioning properly. It shapes learning and memory. Histamine has the most negative reputation for most of us. It's part of our immune response, and we think of it in terms of taking antihistamines, right? So you're going to take Claritin or one of those to stop some sort of allergic reaction, right? Histamine also produces the itching and inflammation. Along with that, the runny nose, the watery eyes, an allergic reaction, but it also is important in sleep and digestion. So you can see that these are the two neurotransmitters out of this group of 6 that we're more likely to get, because we certainly eat ketchup and other cooked tomato products, chips and savory snacks, noodles, cheese, salami, cured dried meat, sausages, those kinds of things, alcoholic beverages for the adults among us, dairy products. So we certainly get our fair share of histamines and glutamate. But just keep in mind they are important in how our brains and bodies work. Now, another little thing. When a child or an adult gets one of these diagnoses, ADHD, here on the left, ADHD, anxiety, depression, or bipolar disorder, very often they're going to be prescribed a medication that will do something to the neurotransmitters to help compensate for whatever they believe is off balance in the brain of these chemicals, right? So, for example, in ADHD, the child would get a medication that would increase dopamine and increase norepinephrine. This is in general, on average, right? For a person who suffers from anxiety, they might get a medication that increases serotonin, increases GABA, decreases norepinephrine, decreases histamine. So see how this works? In depression, they're looking to increase serotonin, increase dopamine, decrease histamines, right? Bipolar disorder being a little bit more challenging, but they're looking to increase GABA, decrease glutamate, increase acetylcholine and dopamine. They are doing one or the other for norepinephrine and for serotonin. Now, if we go back here, let's see if we can get this to go backwards. Here we go. What if we intentionally use food as medicine? And we chose to give our children something that would increase dopamine intentionally or increase serotonin intentionally, like the pharmaceuticals do. Or in this one, increase GABA, increase acetylcholine by feeding them certain foods, because we know food is medicine. Literally, literally, food is medicine. These foods have these neurotransmitters, or the building blocks, foundational materials thereof, that we can selectively feed or eat to help balance out these things and not have to deal with the side effects of the medications, right? Give the children a little bit more chance, right? Now, like I said earlier, in 30 years as a public health nurse, I've worked with literally 40 or probably 50,000 individuals and families. And even in the worst cases of family dysfunction, no parent has ever told me that they wanted to see their child suffer with emotional, physical, or mental health issues. Quite to the contrary. Every parent has told me that they want their kids to be healthy and strong and smart and successful. Yet here we are, with our children struggling to reach their highest potential and more of them being diagnosed and prescribed meds, a lot having to do with the way we raise and feed them. This isn't to make anyone feel shame or guilt. We're doing the best we can. Every parent does the best they can. And that's what this Blossom framework is built to help. So back to the kids in the school. What happened with those 9 and 10-year-olds I was telling you about? We had 7 lessons, like I said, and on the left here, you can see some of the lessons. We talked about what is food. So we defined food. Food is not just something you put in your mouth to fill your belly. It is there to help you learn and grow, be ready to heal, help prevent you from being sick. There's a definition for food that we use. We also talked about why do we eat? How do you read food labels? What is a microbiome? And what's going on in the rainforest, right? We also, every single time we went, we brought food. So the first day, like I said, was spiral pasta and red sauce. We also did chocolate sweet potato pudding. We did a taste the rainbow. We did a salad bar. We did banana berry smoothies. And then we did kids' choice, which for this group of kids, they wanted frozen acai bowls. And that's what we did. It was 7 lessons and a fantastic classroom teacher that supported every effort. And the kids literally went from fear to excitement about learning and trying new things. They had an outdoor garden, and that was our urban gardener that helped them grow huge leaves of kale and collards. Here they are eating salads and trying things that they never tried before. Absolutely gorgeous to watch these kids. This little boy down in the corner here smiling with a salad bowl, he's the one who said that he didn't eat spices. We brought in the salad bar and he just about leveled that salad bar all by himself. That's the type of stuff that brings tears to my eyes, just so you know. Beautiful stuff. I love these little faces. I just love them. And you can see, like, they've made it. They're planted and they're blossoming. They're on planet B. They are planet B. All it takes now is reminders and opportunities. Fertilizer, water, sun, go outside, walk in the grass, and they'll keep growing. They're fabulous, beautiful. So here's the results. They had a school garden outside and an indoor garden in the classroom, which we helped provide. The kids wound up eating more vegetables, whole grains, beans, fruits, and a wider range of flavors. They were less picky. I didn't have anybody tell me ever again that they didn't eat zucchini or they didn't eat spices. They were way more adventurous. And the kids understanding that there's a connection between their food choices and the health of the planet. And they had the budding skills to make a difference for themselves and for their families. This was such powerful work. Beautiful. On the last day, there were 22 kids in the room. 7 of the 22 kids asked how they could stop their parents from buying meat. And 3 of the 22 kids said they didn't want to eat any meat anymore, period. That is success. Beautiful, beautiful to be a part of. Okay, here's my my slide, making me laugh instead of cry, which is wonderful. So B, breathe fresh air. L, love and respect all beings. O, open to new adventures. S, sleep, please. Dear God, let them sleep soundly. S, stay active and playful. O, own your own unique gift. M, make smart food choices a habit. And here's the recipe we used. 7 lessons, incorporating play, time outdoors, courage, gardening. I'm going to say 10 to 15 hours sleeping and dreaming about what is food, why we eat, and how food affects the planet. We loaded in a hefty dose of positive peer pressure because, nothing says try beets like 3 of your friends right next to you trying beets. That was great. We mixed it all gently and blended it until sort of lumpy like chunky peanut butter. And we sweetened it with liberal amounts of praise and hugs as requested and as appropriate. And then we allowed each child to season it to taste with their own unique skills and abilities. And we applauded them. Before I go any further, I want to let you know about this particular project that we work on. It's called More Plants on Plates. It is in relation to a school law change, food law change that occurred in Illinois in 2023. And it says that any child requesting a plant-based lunch in a school system in Illinois can receive it. Takes prior request, and the food will be given without any additional cost. So we encourage parents and children to sign up to get the school plant-based lunches. And on the other side, it's like we work both sides of the coin. So there's the parents and the children. That's the demand side. And then we also support the school food service directors to provide the food. We connect them with vendors that have what we call CN labeled, child nutrition labeled foods that are appropriate, plant-based, center of plate, protein primarily. So we're talking about beans and black bean burgers and falafel and chickpeas and things like that, right? The veggie nuggets, things like that. So we work both sides of that coin. In the course of last year, we had 1,200 kids sign up for this program all across the state of Illinois in 278 different school districts. The program continues now. We have another 9 schools signed up, and we actually have one school that went completely completely plant-based for breakfast, lunch, and snack with great result. If you're interested in exploring getting one of your schools involved in this program, we do not limit it to Illinois anymore. That was last year. This year we are also in Michigan. And right now I'm speaking to a school in Hawaii. So it's all available with everything being online. It's super easy to do. Just let me know. I will give you my contact information here in a minute. At the end of this year, in December, we will have our Child Nutrition Summit. All of you are invited. It's free, open to the public. Save the date, take a picture of this slide. Marikita, maybe I will ask you and Dr. Rao to help broadcast this invitation to your audience. If anyone is interested in learning more about child nutrition and how to make it more palatable, how to make it stick, how to get it into your schools, what happens in schools, what happens, how do you bring it forward? How do you make it important? Please let me know. Okay. So if I could have 3 wishes granted, they would be, and I'll probably cry, so forgive me, that our children understand how deeply they are connected to the world and to others, and that they find joy in bringing their own gifts to the world instead of scheming about what they can take from the world, and that they know they are a part of the resolution of an age-old inquiry that answers the question of how to be a mindful contributor who leaves the world better than how they found it. That would be proof that they've blossomed. And that is how we land on Planet B. This is my contact information. You can scan the QR code. Email me anytime. Happy to have conversations about how we can make our children landing on Planet B a solid reality and in real time.
There is a place where all life thrives, where every creature is respected, compassionately saving lives, and no one is rejected. Our world of peace and harmony, we call this Planet B. There is a place where all life thrives. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In you unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. Oh, a world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. We call this planet B. Call this planet B. There is a place where all life thrives, where every creature is respected, compassionately saving lives, and no one is rejected. Our world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. Oh, a world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B.
Honey, I'm on.
There is a place where all life thrives, where every creature is respected, compassionately saving lives, and no one is rejected. Our world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. This place we know is upside down, a chaos of extremes. In unity we turn it around and live the life of dreams. A world of peace and harmony, we call this planet B. We know it's upside down.